Yo.
What's up, guys?
Hey-o.
Happy
Welcome
Friday.
Welcome back
to Operation Hustle. And we have our guest star again for the second time,
Scott.
Scott.
Dude, he's done an episode
Manningham.
with us.
Manningham. I did it again. I didn't want to
There we
say
go.
it. And then
There we go.
Scott,
guys.
Manningham.
www.fitnesstraining.com. Check us out for personal training, online training.
What? I
In
was going to go
person.
into his website.
No. We throw the commercial first.
Okay. All right. So
Now we get a commercial for him.
introduce Scott and tell him again what he does.
Talk to me.
Talk to me with
Instagram,
the number 2.
right?
Yep.
Facebook.
The number 2, yes. Talk to me
Therapy.
And what's the website so they can find you?
Website is www.talktome with the number 2
Yeah.
therapy.com.
He'll listen to your tears and listen to your fears, baby.
Yeah, so
That's a
just
new
so we're
slogan
clear,
for you.
Scott is a therapist. So, if you're looking to get your mental health right, you're looking to start to work through some, old trauma, current things going on, or maybe you just really could use someone to just help you through some professional struggles, maybe career struggles. Talk to Scott. Talk to me therapy.
Yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, you give me a call.
Yo, throw the digits if you want.
Yeah,
huh?
throw the digits out.
813-260-5949.
Boom, there it
Rewind
is.
if you need it again.
All right,
You
so
got the plug.
we're what are we talking about today? What do we got here?
Ollie, why don't you introduce the topic today?
So we're talking about mental health and basically how to be aware of it in our current climate and in a technological age. So basically how things like echo chambers, like social media, like sensationalism in the news, and pretty much just your everyday feed and how you interact with like your YouTube and your YouTube algorithm, how it puts you on a feedback loop and how that affects the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
Love that.
Have you guys saw Social Dilemma?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
So,
We seen it?
no, we didn't see it. So give us the lowdown and give
watched
us like the shortest version of what
Maybe
it's
we
really
should.
about.
So Social Dilemma basically is about exactly what you're talking about. It's talking about how social media is become its own worst. It's become our own worst enemy. Yes, it's awesome, but we are consistently rewarded for negative behaviors.
Yeah.
you know.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, we're consistently rewarded. Along with we're also I lost it. It's gone.
Well, you had a good point. So let's build off of that.
No worries.
Well, it talks about how
Consistently
people are
reward.
depressed and
Yeah.
they're anxious now. There's a lot of social anxiety.
And the ding of your phone and the ring, all it has become almost like a drug.
Yeah,
It's the
so
same.
It is a drug.
listen, Pavlov's law, right?
Mhm,
They
yeah.
hear the ding, they're salivating, right? The dog.
Mhm.
So you hear the ding. Who knows? Maybe you're salivating over your phone.
Right.
You're
Like I said, do you
salivating
ever
over the
take
Instagram
a hit of
live.
that TikTok?
Right.
It's addicting. You get
Right.
dopamine. You keep scrolling. You see likes. You see all this weird shit going
Mhm.
on. You feel different than you do if you're not looking at it.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
And it's
There-
highly addicting. And if a good way to kind of monitor it is check your fucking screen time on your phone
So
Yeah.
I want to give a
and
perfect
realize how much time
example.
you waste.
Okay, so this is I'm going to give you the shortest version of something that recently just happened to one of our friends.
Mhm.
And this reminded me of this. When you said, I have a friend that put a video out on TikTok. And it was she took a little small snippet of this health magazine, and it was a very, very obese woman. And it said the future of health. Now, she was just stating what the title said was misrepresentation. And it's not something we should be promoting. She didn't read
Right.
the article, right? She wasn't stating it was about the article. She was stating this was about what the cover was insinuating to the people that were going to read it.
Mhm.
And this is kind of about sensationalism, right? Put a crazy, text up on a magazine or a crazy, title up on something to get somebody to read it. Maybe it's not even necessarily about that, which it wasn't necessarily even about that. But And so she said that, like a shocking, like, oh my gosh, this is the future of health. Like, this is not healthy and this isn't obvious. And
Right.
like, people are actually dying. Over 600,000 people a year die from obesity,
Mhm.
and yet we're going to say this is the future of health. Well, somebody, a comedian on TikTok, famous comedian, took her video and basically doctored it up and made it look like she was laughing at the woman on the cover.
Mhm.
Now, little did she know, she
Viral.
didn't know that she was
Viral as fuck.
lesbian, right?
Mhm.
And she was also a Black woman, and she was also a yoga instructor,
Mhm.
right? So she got hit by all these different subcultures on TikTok. And so all these people are getting rewarded by hating on this one person who made a statement that was actually factual.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
and then
Yeah,
you
and the
got
shit that they're saying in the comments is
they were
even
talking about
worse
dragging her
than
in the
what
sand. They were
this whole
talking
thing
about
is about.
finding her. They were literally reaching out to her clients and saying that she's a body shamer and that she should be killed. I mean, the things that they were saying,
Right.
other people rewarding them and then just feeding off of those comments, and you were getting rewarded for talking about killing another human being for
Right.
saying something that was factual.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But yet this is exactly what you're talking about, being rewarded for negative behavior. What she was stating, and they even went as far, because she's actually in a relationship with someone who is Black. She's in a relationship with a Black man. They went to his profile and said, this is why she thinks that she's entitled to do this. This is insane that you would even date a white woman. Just crazy things that literally had nothing to do with what she was saying.
Yeah, the internet can be evil, and
Here's
it
the
can,
Wild West.
it can
bro.
be terrible, and it definitely is the
There's
wild
no-
west.
It's the Wild West.
Anything
There's
is
rules,
possible
but
at
there's
this
no
point.
rules.
Mhm.
Right. So,
Like,
and it's
it's
all
pretty
this rewarded negative behavior and attacking this woman, and then all these other people are getting those little dings off of feeding off this hate. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna now chime in too. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
but nothing of what these people are talking about. You didn't even read the article, and then she felt so bad. She put an apology video out, like saying this is, somebody doctored
That's
this
a
up.
no-no.
This is not actually what the video even looked like,
Mhm.
and this was not my intention for anybody to feel attacked. And then they made them go off more.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
you
then
apologize. You're guilty.
Then they're like, this is a fake apology, blah, 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 and they're just going off like as if she personally attacked each one of those people on TikTok,
Mhm.
which is insane.
Yeah, there was on this video they were talking about how that ding is not only like the Pavlov, like it becomes more like, as opposed to getting rewarded because of the rewards, you get the dopamine, serotonin, all of that stuff. So it's actually becoming a drug.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It's addicting.
it's
Like I
it's
said,
ridiculous.
the amount of time that people spend on TikTok, I do it too. I have a TikTok. It's fucking addicting
Mhm.
for no reason. I don't even know why.
Right.
I'm watching dumb things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it is
Scrolling.
entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, when has it become okay to talk
definitely
about
entertaining.
dragging another human being through the sand over stating something that was accurate about the title? That was a misleading title when the article had nothing to do with it, but she didn't read the article. She was just trying to say, like, hey, this should not be the future of health. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, but this is not what we should be promoting.
Right.
I mean, people are dying of being unhealthy, and they're getting all sorts of underlying health conditions. Yet this whole body positivity movement has started its own like subculture that really has nothing to do with health. Like I'm
Mhm.
all about being, confident with your own body, especially being a woman. But there comes a place where it's like, okay, when you're unhealthy, that's a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't think it's of course it's wrong that she was they misrepresented her, but the only thing is when you put something out on the internet, anything, you
Yeah.
have to be ready.
Look at 50 Cent.
Yeah.
You got to
bro.
be ready for it. Like
My
if
dude
50
came out on the Super Bowl and he
Mhm.
got dogged.
Yeah, but
'cause
he's
he
ready
gained
for it though.
a
Yeah, he
couple.
was ready.
And that's a good example. Every single time that he is attacked, he uses
He's
that
smart as fuck.
to his
Mhm.
benefit.
That's
And I think
publicity,
we could
bro.
all do the same
My man
thing.
might have put on
Yeah.
some weight just for that, so he did get dogged, so he can make more money on your dumbass.
True.
Yeah.
True,
But
possibly.
he's
Yeah.
smart, dude. That's a businessman. I read his
Mhm.
book. It's really good.
Yeah.
What the hell was his? I forget the name of the book. It is good though.
50 Laws of Power.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
It is
a
good.
few
He talks
books, yeah.
about just how to be a straight baller businessman.
But one of the things that Ali was talking about that he wanted to talk about today was just sensationalism. And it's, insane because we are always just consuming all this negative news, this fake news, based off of titles that we click on. It's clickbait. It
Mhm.
gets us to look at it. Now, before you know it, we're spending 30 minutes on an article that we thought was about one thing is really about something else.
propaganda too.
yeah,
That shit's everywhere. Dude.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
I've seen it. COVID.
It's
and
just
people
crazy.
getting taken away.
And before you know it, you could have
I don't
started your
know.
day off in a really positive, happy mood. And now after reading all these clickbait,
Mhm.
sensationalism stories, now you're in a really negative place.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask you, like, are you seeing a lot of this in therapy?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we got to take social media away from just being social media. Our phones are literally learning from us and learning what to promote to us. So
Yeah.
our phones have become so part of social media, along with games, video games, everything.
Smartphone, it's
like,
smart.
They're like kids literally coming into therapy that don't do anything. I'm sorry, that don't do anything but play the video games. They don't have any social skills. They don't really know how to talk to anybody.
That's what that metaverse comes in. It's creepy.
So what are you seeing the effects are on that? Like on the psyche, on like relationships?
Depression, anxiety, lack of communication, social anxiety. The list goes on and on. If you don't,
social anxiety is gonna be crazy because they're not used to having normal human interaction.
Any conversation.
Well, so my thing is they don't really learn how to regulate their emotions. So then are you seeing a lot of these same kids who don't know how to communicate, acting out because
anger,
they have, yes, aggression,
OD, oppositional defiant disorder, a lot of them. They're dealing with the whole gambit of everything.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I wonder, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to finish this thought before
I'm
I
just cut
forget
you
it.
off, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Well, I'm gonna really forget this, and it was a good point. Do you see people that are developing mental illness, and I'm thinking more so like bipolar, putting on these fake personalities and these fake personas on the internet to achieve, that hit, to achieve the likes, to achieve the popularity?
Yes, of course.
You know what I mean? Because that is, you can develop mental illness.
I mean, this is the place where you develop the fake persona. This is the place where people are developing themselves. At first, we used to do it on the street. We'll run down, we'll get a couple friends, we'll figure out who we are and who we aren't based on the friendship. But their entire friendship is based on social media, is based in the cloud.
That's weird.
So this is where they're going to develop.
So I do want to talk about kind of the feedback loop that we're assessing here. So whenever it comes to social media, we understand that there are certain algorithms in place to promote what you like, how long you watch things, and even sometimes with TikTok, it's been proven that other countries are influencing how that data is used and how it's processed, and even taking data that might not necessarily be legal to take here in the U.S. So it's been really interesting to.
We're gonna get this episode pulled.
Now you know you do.
China.
Cancel
There it
culture.
is. It's called instant. Trump's on camera. Get him on.
Yeah. No, we've been shadow banned effectively.
Oh, boy.
Effective immediately.
Yeah.
But essentially, I want to assess, or I want to address, what are the preventative measures we can take? Because like you said, people used to find out who they are, develop their social skills, develop their skills in general, who they are, who they will become as a person by the groups of people that they hung out with. So how do you effectively manage this as your new form of social interaction in order to benefit you and help you pursue the path that you would like to develop skills on and towards in life?
One of the major things this is kind of what they talked about in Social Dilemma. Social Dilemma, these were all the pioneers of Google and all of the pioneers of the game, like the other social media stuff. They came back to say, hey, this is messed up. And some of the things that they put in place that I could see that what they talked about that they put in place were screen time. Along with screen time, they also boundaries when it came to taking the phone where they go. We kind of talked about that last time, like being able to actually cut off the phone from your business, like being able to cut it off in order to create boundaries between yourself and this stimulus. Like we literally need this. The first thing I do in the morning is I get up and I grab my phone.
Yeah, you and every single other person.
Well, honestly,
Crazy.
when you said that the last time we had you on, Justin and I really took account into that because, we were small business owners learning as you go. And so for everyone that is a client or prospective clients, there will be a separate business line. So there are going to be new business hours that you can contact me at, and I won't be available at all times.
That's right.
But
I'm not a
that is
24/7 hotline, baby.
because, yes, I'm not a hotline blank.
I will offer the service for a nice price.
I'd like to be able to have a time to just disconnect. And it's funny because sometimes people forget that. And I'm sure you see this with clients as well. It's like, people that work in corporate companies or they work at a job where they're an employee, they don't like if their boss would be contacting them at all, hours of the night, right? But sometimes they get text calls at 10, 11, o'clock at night. And, I'd rather not see those. So I'm going to get a separate phone because for me, now some people like Justin can easily set the phone down. I have a really hard time setting it down, not looking at it,
You
or
need that-
responding because
you
I'm like,
need
well,
that
I'm
hit.
up.
Difficult, though. Like
You need that hit, huh?
I probably got.
Well, I'm like, I'm up. Should I answer? And then I forget what time
Sure.
it is, and then I'm just like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But these two are pretty good at like their phone is down, you know, at a certain time at night, and you know they're gonna not answer. And they're pretty laissez-faire in that sense. But so it's really for me.
Yeah, but the screen time will definitely help. So look at your screen time and make a small goal of like, all right, I'm gonna cut an hour off of this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do not go for the gold and get rid of the phone because that's never gonna work.
Yeah.
Other
But it
things,
is extremely fucking.
other things that help is cutting off all notifications. So you have to,
Yes.
because the
have to go to
notification,
the
the
app to
ding
see
is
it.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ollie was
So-
talking about that.
So cut off notifications.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Period. Delete apps that you don't want to frequent.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you don't like Instagram became a thing for me, so I deleted it off of my regular phone.
Yeah.
And all I do is my business Instagram.
Yeah.
It's not much on there, so
Yeah.
I don't really have a need unless I'm posting a video or
For
something
sure.
like that.
Yeah.
Aside from that,
You can do like
I've got
I heard a couple of different tips I can give.
I
as
think
well.
Ollie
Yeah.
wants to give his.
Yeah, yeah,
six
go
I've
ahead.
got a really interesting one. I like to turn on the grayscale.
Yeah.
So I'll
What's
turn
that?
it gray if I've been on my phone way too much. I
Game
turn
Boy,
it
dog,
gray,
before color.
and then it's no longer stimulating.
if you turn the phone gray,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can turn it into a just
The
gray screen.
colors
There's
make
no
it
color.
you can
stimulating.
do that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and
It's smarter
boring.
than you think, bro.
New tip for clients.
Okay,
Turn
I
that
like
phone
that.
grayscale.
Turn it grayscale and you
Y'all
won't
have to
even
show me how
care
to
to
do that
click
after
on
this.
those fucking
Y'all have to
apps
show
because
me
they're
how to
not
do that.
colorful. They're not inviting. It's like, oh, it's just a gray
Same
block.
thing they do
Yeah.
in Vegas, huh?
That's
With
it.
the colors
Yo,
and the
the,
bright
the
lights.
dings,
Mhm.
right? The
Mhm.
dings, the
Yeah.
blings, the all excitement.
Yeah,
all
we're all
colorful,
monkeys.
loud, noisy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw a
Technically.
couple shiny objects in front of us,
Right.
and we'll be happy.
You know, speaking of which, penguins like shiny things. Just saying, they
Yeah.
do. When I went to go visit the
Mhm.
penguins, that's what she said. They love shiny things because they're clicking at my watch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The one penguin was like click, 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 and I was
He's
like,
like,
"What
"Oh,
is it doing?"
That
She's
shit's
like,
fake.
"Yeah." She's like, the penguin is assessing the realness
I
of the
know
watch.
real diamonds. Yeah. But another tip would be to take maybe one day a month and not have your phone, if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally
I like
just
that one.
day.
Mhm.
Or you do it once a week for a small period of time, like a 2-hour window, or say like you have a family, there is no phones at the dinner table.
So a
Mhm.
tip that I've said before, and
Restaurants, too.
I'll reiterate it, is that like for me, one thing that I kind of get disappointed about, and because I hold myself to a really high standard, and I'm a perfectionist and a Virgo, so they go hand in hand. Is that I'll like scroll whatever, and maybe I just spent an hour like wasting time scrolling at things that aren't bringing me any benefit, and then I suddenly start to feel bad. And then now I start to get that like failure, like feeling like, oh my God, I just wasted an hour looking at crap that's not doing anything. And it's not that I find like relaxing in nature to be, a failure. It's like this junk is literally giving me nothing. And I have a business, so I can constantly be doing something for my business, right? But for people who don't have a business, or if you do, so if you have a business, say to yourself, hey, if I'm going to be on the phone, I'm going to make sure I do, and give yourself a realistic goal. Like I'm going to make 5 posts that I can, post throughout the week or just tomorrow, if you're like us, and post tons of Instagram stories before I even look at anything that's not going to give me benefit. Or if you're somebody that doesn't own a business, maybe you look for something educational. Because learning always gives me a really good feeling. Like I accomplished feeling. I feel, purposeful. I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't know this. And it's something I can now bring to the table as far as conversation with, other interpersonal relationships and clients. And so if that's you, go ahead and, learn about something, maybe historical if it interests you, or maybe something about the brain, or maybe something about stimulants. Maybe you want to learn more about that, whatever.
So that kind of goes into like another one of my things. When you have a stimulant that you're trying to get rid of, whether that's a boyfriend, girlfriend, cell phone, drug, things like that, it's difficult to say I'm out. Like it's difficult to just push it away and say I'm done. Cold turkey doesn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so
true.
As I said, little by little,
we have to fill these empty spaces. We can cold turkey, but that's if we're filling these empty spaces with something that's going to give us that same feeling.
Yeah,
it's going to produce that same chemical in our brain. So consistently, like we're gonna go back to y'all working out, like you just said, reading, writing, being creative, anything that's going to sleeping. Sometimes don't get stuck in sleep. That could turn into a whole other thing. But there are other things that we get into that don't actually fulfill those spaces and make us better afterwards, like eating, drinking, like all those other things. They kind of like make you worse afterwards. So
well, I mean, let's face it, the phone is an addiction.
Yes.
And I was just reading another book, because I've used this example many times with clients, because I'm going on my 6th year sobriety here. Thank you, Justin, my only fan.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Is one thing in AA, and I talk about this with clients because addictions to me are pretty universal, right? Whether you're addicted to a toxic relationship, you're addicted to food, you're addicted to drugs, you're addicted to alcohol. It's that same. And I was sitting here listening and go, there it is. That's why AA does this. When you get rid of that stimulant, that addiction, there's still that void. And you don't know, and you almost become this like person that's just like lost, walking
What do
around.
I
You don't
do?
what yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's how I felt after I quit alcohol. Like, okay, what do I do? I don't go out. I don't go to the bar. I don't drink. You know, when I get home, what do I do? You
Right.
know, so they say like, hey, if you need to go to 2 meetings a day, then that's what you do, because guess what? It fills your time. And then after a certain amount of meetings, they're like, okay, you should start making the coffee. And that's not because they want you to do your chores. It's because they want you to have a purpose, a feeling of why you're there. Getting outside of yourself and helping others is supposed to help you overcome addictions, especially when it comes to AA. And that's their beliefs. And so I did that for a while. I was going to 2 meetings a day, and that really did help me. And then going to separate women's meetings. There was all women. Then we went over the big book.
You filled that empty space with a lot of good things.
Right. And then I went and met with my sponsor, and that's required of you. And so, and you know, the point of going through AA is that if you want to really help yourself, you're going to go through the 12 steps.
Right.
And so you find somebody you feel comfortable doing that with. And sometimes you even go through it multiple times if you need to. And so it's filling that void. It's exactly what it is. And so I tell people, like, you still have to fill this void. You know, your first, go-to was go grab a donut. We need to figure out what we can do instead. You need to have coping mechanisms to fill that void, because even though you're getting rid of this addiction, that behavior is still there, and you still want to reach for that food when you're feeling emotional, when you're feeling overwhelmed with emotions, when you're feeling stressed out, or there's a trigger particularly. We need to as far as overcoming addictions, figure out what the cue is. You know, for me, thinking about trauma and not wanting to deal with it and not wanting to work through it with my childhood trauma, it was easy to just block it out and act like it never happened. And alcohol helped me do that.
Yeah. Identifying triggers is one, and acceptance that it is a problem, whether we're talking about the phone or we're talking about drugs or anything else. Accepting that it is the problem is one of the first things that we got to do.
Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
I love the direction that we're taking this as far as like solutions go to mental health problems. But I am a little curious as far as like what the preventative measures are for recognizing something that may become a harmful addiction. Or is there like a step that you can, or a couple steps that you can take to analyze a certain habit you may be currently forming? Like I noticed a lot of the things that were listed were things that are indulgent and don't have many benefits to be reaped. So is that a process? Like what's your process?
I'm going to give you what they say in AA, and then Scott can build off of this. So, and because I was one of those people that was like, for a while I was like, I don't have a problem. But I'll keep coming. So you're listening to these people, and some people show up and they really can't even drive past a liquor store. And so you are like, okay, that's a real problem. But the typical person thinks of an alcoholic as a person who is sitting at the side of the street, no home, they're homeless, they're drinking alcohol of a paper bag. And when somebody explained it to me, when I said I didn't know if I had a problem, it made complete sense. I think when addressing addictions, you need to think about the intent when you are doing that particular behavior, right? And so somebody told me in AA, we have a woman that comes in here who only drinks once a year. But every time she drinks that once a year, she drinks to get plastered, and every time she is arrested. That's an addiction, whether it's one time a year or whether it's every day. I mean, there are functioning drug addicts, functioning alcoholics. There are CEOs of companies that are doing this, right? So it's the intent. Why are you doing? Are you drinking to get drunk? Are you drinking to get buzzed, right? Like, what is the intent? Are you drinking? I'm just having a drink because, hey, everybody else is, and I'm having one. And maybe you leave the party. That's somebody who doesn't have a problem. But somebody who steps into that party and is like, I can't wait to get wasted. What is the intent?
That was me.
But that's what I'm saying. What is the intent?
If I'm drinking, baby.
So the way I identify if something, the way everybody mental health wise identifies if something is a mental health issue or quote unquote a problem, is when it becomes a problem. Like so, something is diagnosable when you meet all of these criteria, and most of the criteria is going to involve you being uncomfortable with the situation, you being uncomfortable with the results, you being uncomfortable with where it ends up every time.
Yeah.
And sometimes for some people, jail isn't a problem. Sometimes some people, they might want to go to jail.
That rock bottom is sometimes not low enough.
Right. So at that point, if it's not disrupting their life or disrupting the path that they want their life to go, then it's probably not a problem. And that's the only time that people tend to tend to manage their problems is when they view them as a problem. You understand what I'm saying? So until I view something as a problem, I'm not even going to, it's not.
You don't need a solution.
So,
Right. I don't need a
problem.
solution.
So the question is, as a general protocol or rule of thumb, in order to avoid pitfalls in the future, like because like I understand, like it becomes a problem, then you seek to solve it. Is there a mental exercise? Like I know Abby said that the what was it, the I can't
It's the
what's the word?
intent behind
intent.
why you're doing something.
Okay.
So like I'm going to give you an example of food. So if you go to reach for a donut because you're stressed out and you're not necessarily hungry, it's the intent behind why you're doing that behavior.
And what would you say that intent is?
The intent is
feel good.
to feel good, to get the quick dopamine hit,
exactly.
and to numb the pain. To numb the pain is the consistent repetitive behavior for most people.
Okay, so like for reference,
sex addicts to get the quick dopamine hit to numb the pain.
Get that now?
I'm just
So,
saying.
when-
I'm giving examples. They go with everything.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So,
But what
so
Scott's saying is, if
when-
you don't realize you have a problem, you're not even going to accept that you need a solution.
Exactly,
Yeah,
which
there's
is
no
why
solution for if you don't have a
there
problem.
should be preventative measures as to understand when the problem is developing and not when it has become a problem. So, like, let's say that you're reaching for the donut. Let's say you've begun a new habit. You started to notice yourself doing something more. You don't know whether it's bad or good yet, but you can assess it. So, take that little bit of time, assess what the new habit that you formed is, and try and figure out what is my intent behind it before the intent becomes so powerful or so overwhelmingly obvious in your life because of the problems that have been caused from this habit.
That's optimistic.
It is optimistic
because
Sounds
most people, if I've never been through something, like I've been through the fat thing, like
Fat.
pray I'll never go back. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No,
those weren't my words.
I'm sorry. But I've been through like gaining a lot of weight.
Right.
So now that I've been through gaining a lot of weight, yes, I might go eat me a cookie one time. But when I sit down and I recognize, okay, I've eaten a whole row of Oreos. I know where this goes now. Put these down, get all the Oreos out the house. Now I can create those boundaries and put those things in place that will keep me from getting there. But it's only because I've been there.
It's really hard, is what he's saying, to be able to put preventative measures in place because from pretty much 99.9% of people, they can't self-reflect. So when you're in it, when you're in the chaos, and I'm sure Scott sees this all the time, when you're in the chaos, and it's really hard to see what is normal because that chaos to you has become normalized. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The chaos becomes your new normal. That's why, like, a lot of people who don't deal with childhood trauma, like, that chaos is normal. I mean, seeing really, explosive domestic violent fights between my parents, that was normal to me. It was like, okay, this is a Thursday night for me.
It's normalized.
So experiential adaptation as opposed to theoretical.
So,
yes.
But theoretical works if you're a listener. Like, so there are some kids out, like the second child. They normally don't get whooped as much as every other child because they're watching it happen. They don't get in trouble as much.
I ain't doing that.
This one.
Homeboy got his ass whooped. I'm learning from him today.
So like if we listen, if we look and we're aware of our surroundings, then we can. But when you're eating that cookie or when you roll in the joint or when you having a drink, you're not really aware of that.
So I'm gonna wrap up this final thought with this because this goes in with all of this. I guess you really need to start to take a break from these stimulants and the sensationalism and technology like we've been talking about this entire time, because a lot of these things reward that type of behavior that we're talking about, and these type of platforms tell you it's okay. Hey, body positivity, it's completely okay because they've manipulated what those words mean now, right? It's no longer being confident with yourself. It's being okay to be whatever size you are, and even if that means super unhealthy. And hey, I've been diagnosed diabetic and told that I could lose a limb, but body positivity.
What
right?
would the doctor say? He'd say, you need to lose that weight.
Put these platforms down, put these stimuli away, and you might be more open to being able to self-reflect on a deeper level to be able to come up with preventative measures.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't necessarily always have to get rid of a habit. You have to be able to control it.
Manage.
Boom.
There's no such thing as control.
Well, there you go. Manage it. Once you can manage it, then you have control over you're going to do it or not. Like the cookie thing. You have the control now. Like, I know if I buy these,
Cookie doesn't control you.
Right.
I'm not going to buy them. There's the control.
Well, on that note, I think that Scott has given us a lot of insight on this, and I think this is important. Why it is actually really helpful to get a professional to help you come up with preventive measures, because again, most of us don't have the ability to self-reflect. That's why counselors exist. That's why professionals exist.
100%.
Talk to me therapy, baby.
That is right. That's right. We are the preventative measures. Come
Right.
talk
There you
to
go.
us.
Boom.
There it is.
There you go.
Yo,
Scott
talk
is
to
the
me.
self-reflection.
On Instagram, Facebook.
Talk to me therapy. Talktometherapy.com. Just talk to me with a number 2 therapy on Instagram, Facebook. You can
Throw the
find
number
me.
out there one more time.
813-260-5949. 813-260-5949. If you're in the Florida area, check me out.
Yeah.
Love
you
it.
want personal training, online training, in-person training, boot camps, boxing. We do it all. absfitnesstrainer.com. Give us a call at 813 257
257-9632. Oh my God, I can't believe you forgot
Yeah,
that.
I got too many numbers,
Instagram is absfitness_Brandon Florida. Facebook is Abs Fitness LLC. You can find us on YouTube. YouTube.
Yep,
YouTube.
Utah,
I can't speak
Utah.
today. YouTube. Abs Fitness Film House, and TikTok is boom.
Abs Fitness Tampa. Yo, if you see our vehicles around town, they have the logo on it. Take a picture, send it to us, and we'll give you a discount.
Woo,
Let's
love
go.
that.
Did
All
that
right.
count for me too?
Of course. I think I see it in the parking lot.
He's taking a selfie with it right now.
Spammed.
Bye, guys. Happy
Deuces, we'll see
Friday.
you
We'll
next
see you
week.
next Friday.
Bye.